Namaskaram. So today is day 21 of the SaveSoil journey, and last few days we have been covering in terms of how we can become more conscious. Yesterday we also looked at why it is very important to speak about this, to raise our voice, to see that we are heard, so that this is something which cannot be ignored any further, and action is taken about this. So today I also wanted to speak about how we can use social media to create an impact, because generally when we speak about social media, a lot of us, the first impression which we get is that this is something which is a waste of time, it's killing time, and this is something which is like a distraction, and it's like a loss of energy, and so much negativity, or comparison, and so many other things. But on the other side, if one is conscious, we can also see how to make use of this, the tools which are provided by social media for a good cause. So this is something which is completely in our hands. It's not the tool which is right or wrong. It is just about how we are able to use this, and the way we use it will decide whether this is something which is beneficial for us, or whether this is something which is pulling us down. So generally anything which is done compulsively, it doesn't matter whatever you are doing, if it is done with in a compulsive way, this is something which will not be for our well-being. But if it is handled consciously, then something like social media or anything else for that matter can be a great boon. So never before we had this opportunity where just sitting at our homes, we can make our voice reach across the globe. If our message is powerful enough, if it is something which can resonate with people, then geography is not the limiting factor anymore. Just sitting at home, it has made a level playing ground for so many of us, that now we don't need to have the muscle strength or any brute force. We don't need to display that just to see how our voice is heard. In ancient times, if someone has to be heard across, it was something which is next to impossible, or they had to do something through which people across, they came to know about them, and it was a very slow process, and it was very difficult to reach. But now, sitting at home, we can reach the whole world if we wish to. So let's see how we can make use of this advantage which social media has given us, because anyway we are using it. But now if we can use it consciously to raise our voice and let the whole world know that this is something which needs action, immediate action. So when it comes to Save Soil, there are as you know, there are two main objectives. One is to create awareness among the people that this is something which is very much needed, that they should know that why the soil is important, what they can do to contribute towards this cause. It's important that people know. People who earlier thought that soil is something which they don't even need to know about or care about, it's important that everybody across the world, they know that this is something which is important. The second part of it is also about the policy makers, the government machinery, the bureaucracy, all the government organizations, the policy makers, the influential people who can make decisions at a larger level. When it comes to decision making, we need to see how they can be reached as well. So there are various tools through social media through which we can reach both these through which we can meet both these objectives. When it comes to reaching and making people aware, the mass, tools like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, these are very effective. Most of us may be having accounts in these media, whether it's your WhatsApp status, if you can just upload on a daily basis or just a 30-second video to let people know about Save Soil. This itself can be a big way to reach people, to make people across the world know that this is something which is important. So this is already something which has been seen in the last 20 days. Almost whichever channel you open, whether you open Instagram or Facebook or whatever, it's flooded with Save Soil messages. So that's something which is happening. And when it comes to policymakers, you'll see that most of them are on Twitter. If you see the influential policymakers, government officials, etc. They're all on Twitter. So it's very important that we reach out to them as well. So even as simple as something as retweeting or liking a particular tweet can make a big difference. Earlier I used to think that how is just one retweet going to change the world, and this is something which is very insignificant. Just retweeting something, how is it going to make a difference? But actually it makes a huge difference, something which people cannot ignore, because generally in Twitter you have these Twitter trends where if something is a lot of people start talking about it, then it appears in the Twitter trends, and people who can make decisions, they generally notice this. So if next 80 days, if all of us we just get together and do something as simple as maybe just retweeting what Sadhguru has been tweeting, this itself can make a big impact. So please don't underestimate the impact of this. This is something which can have a huge impact. Just a 5-second job which you're doing of retweeting something. When you're retweeting, it's not that you're just doing it blindly. It is something which you can read, go through something, understand and educate yourself, see if this is something which is meaningful, and then you can retweet it if you feel that this is something which needs to be shared with more people. So if just something as simple as this, if you just spend a few minutes on a daily basis, if all of us do this, this can be one of the ways in which we can reach a large segment of people and make them aware that this is high time for action. So let us all make use of the tools of social media instead of thinking that this is something which is not important. Even something as simple as for us spending just a few minutes sharing something on our WhatsApp or sharing or retweeting a tweet, this itself can make a huge impact. So even if you are not on social media, use this opportunity to please see if you can create an account. It doesn't take an Herculean effort to learn how to create an account, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or whatever else. Please see if you can make one account, and if you can just learn, there are various tools and you can always make use of the internet to learn. And something as simple as just spending a few minutes a day retweeting, going through all the tweets, educating yourself and retweeting them and uploading the videos on your social media status, this itself can make a huge impact, because now we don't need to take swords and kind of fight. That's not necessary. If you just use a few fingers, this itself can cause a big revolution. That is the beauty of this particular age that we are living in, that it doesn't require any big fights. We don't require any weapons or anything else for that matter which is destructive. If we just use our intelligence, if we are conscious enough, just by saying something on social media, this itself can make our message reach across the world. So that's the beauty of it. Never before we had this opportunity to do this, that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are from. If something is of significance which the world needs to hear, and if you have that message to share, people will sit up and listen. So let's do this. Please see if you can not miss even a single day for the next 79 days which are left. If all of us get together, we can definitely reach more than half the world population and make them aware about SaveSoil, and also the policymakers, so that they understand that it's high time that some action needs to be taken. So let's see if you can do that. Next few days I'll be in a children's camp in Bandipur, so I'm not sure if I'll be able, whether I have any network over there much to share the updates for the next 4 days, but I'll see if there is a possibility. If there's network, I'll try to see if at least I can come live or maybe just post a few pictures of what's happening with us. So we have a children's camp happening starting from tomorrow in Bandipur. So we'll be seeing how to bring some of these things about SaveSoil in action, and also see if we can inspire the younger generation to just see how they can fall in love with nature, understand the importance of soil and everything else around them. So we'll be seeing how to put all these things in action in the next 4 days. So I'll see whatever best we can do in terms of updates based on our network condition, etc. So until then, let's see if we can get together and save soil. Take care. Namaskaram.